from the positive elements we used to have in the history of the Russian Empire. There was a lot of positive in the USSR. There were advantages, disadvantages, problems and issues that were overcome in different fashion. They had different consequences. As far as our relationship with the left part of the political spectrum is concerned, as well as other political movements, I can tell you that the special nature of the current Russian society, we have a consensus as far as Russian foreign policy is concerned. Yes, we have pro-Western elements whose families live there, whose children study there. It's a very small component, and every country has such an element. But mostly our society enjoys a consensus. There is a great level of consolidation, regardless of their political hue, regardless of how they view the path Russia should take in its development. Communists believe that everything should be nationalized once again, that we need to return the state into the economy. Well, how efficient this gonna be, it's hard to tell. To an extent, at a certain stage in history, this probably might happen. We have a law on nationalization, but we are not resorting to it because there is no need for that. We assume that we need to use the most efficient tools for our country's development, mainly the principles of the market, but under the guidance of the authorities and the citizens. We need to use these advantages to achieve such goals as greater well-being for the country, eradication of poverty, taking efforts to build more and better, achieve better healthcare and education, and address other important issues we're facing. That is why we are working and engaging with those who profess left-wing views. We have respect for them. As you have aptly said, the Soviet Union was controlled by the Communist Party for a very long time. I'm not gonna into detail saying what bad things they were and others. You also mentioned religious organizations. We have 4 traditional religions in Russia. All of them are vastly patriotic as far as the Russian Orthodox Church is concerned. Throughout all of Russian history, it's been together with its faithful, with its believers and with its people. And the current stage is no exception. We have some characteristics, special characteristics right now with regards to our religions. We're not interfering in the internal life of our religions. We probably give them vaster freedoms than some countries that deem themselves to be democratic ones. We believe that we owe our religions a great debt because during the Soviet times their property was taken away from them, sold sometimes. It dealt a heavy blow to religious organizations, in particular to the Russian Orthodox Church. That is why we're trying to support all of our religious groups without, however, interfering in their internal affairs. I think it had never happened before. On the one hand, we sense this general patriotic sentiment. People are patriotic, they want our country to be stronger, our interests abroad be protected. At the same time, we provide full freedom to these organizations, to our citizens. This situation, I think, yields the results we seek. Very well. Kubat Rakimov, please. Kubat Rakimov, Kyrgyzstan. Mr. President, Russia truly is a leader of a new anti-colonial movement across the world. Russia's dedication to traditional conservative values is also resonating. But throughout the history of the Valdai Club, we've seen a great demand for social justice, for a fair organization of social relations. What is your view of this matter, and how can we serve you as experts of the Valdai Club? This is my first question. My second question is as follows. What do you think about the prospect of transferring the capital of Russia eastwards to the center of Russia, to the center of Eurasia, to be closer to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Thank you. As far as a more just social order is concerned, as per our constitution, Russia is a social state, a social justice state. Everything we do, all our national goals are dedicated to addressing social tasks. We can go hours and hours, and even our today's discussion is not going to be enough to demonstrate fully that everything we do, whatever we do, seeks to address social issues. There are still many issues outstanding, and I said that in the past. We need to develop our economy, and upon this basis we have to address education, healthcare, technological development issues. We have to change the very structure of our economy. Structural changes are most important. This will lead to changes in the labor market, and we have to think about people who are going to be freed up when the market is going to change. We have to retrain them, to give them additional training. As far as the Valdai Club is concerned, it brings together experts of different kinds. And if experts demonstrate to us the trends in key areas, then we would be very grateful to you, because we will take your views into account in building our plans. We will take into account your positions on the trends that we have just spoken about. We need to understand what's going to happen tomorrow to build the policy for today.
As for the transfer of the capital, yes, we've heard such discussions within Russia. There used to be the change of the capital that happened several times throughout the history of the Russian state. Historically and mentally, Russia has always been associated with Moscow. And I know that there are issues in the development of the capital as a tremendous city, as a megapolis, but I have to say that under the leadership of the current mayor, Mr. Sibanin, has been solved much more efficiently than in other countries of the world and other megapolises. Yes, there are some issues that have to do with transportation and social infrastructure development. Still, over the past years, Mayor Sibanin has done a lot for these issues to be curbed and to create the necessary conditions for the citizens of Moscow and everyone who comes over here to Moscow to work there or as a tourist, for them to feel comfortably in the capital. A lot has been done for the development of the city in the past years. The issue of over-centralization of all federal institutions in Moscow is indeed there. Just like in some other countries, for example, I'm an advocate of the solution. Just like in other countries, what they've done is they decentralized and they have transferred mandate and competences of the capital to other regions of the country. For example, we're creating a judicial center in St. Petersburg. The constitutional court has been transferred to St. Petersburg. We have specific plans for the Supreme Court. Well, it needs to be done without haste to create the right conditions for the judicial community to work in St. Petersburg. It will be done without fuss, without
buat
haste.
nambahin ini aja, buat barusan kan ada setup baru.
Some major companies, for example, which
Jadi
work
nggak
in
perlu
Siberia, for
setiap
example,
live
but their management is situated in Moscow. They could have placed their headquarters in
Jadi
Siberia.
tinggal baca aja di
And
situ.
that happens. For example,
Mau
Rus
kepomu
Hydro
terus muncul bahkan saat layar dimatikan atau menggunakan aplikasi lain?
created
Dapatkan
their
di
base
Music
in
Premium.
Krasnoyarsk, I believe.
Resiko trading seperti apa?
They're creating their HQ there, as well as some of the central authorities could be more decentralized around the territory of Russia. That will benefit the governance system and the regions where they will be situated. Thank you. Ivan Timofeyev. Good evening, Mr. President. Ivan Timofeyev, Valdai Club.
Ini udah pasti turun kalau posisi kayak gini nih.
Russia has experienced a tremendous amount of sanctions against it. You've mentioned the freezing of our assets of 300 billion. We can add dozens of billions of the property of our citizens and our organizations. They're planning to confiscate these assets, and they're developing the necessary mechanism. Also, financial limitations, bans on supplying technologies and goods to Russia, Russian oil supply banned, and manipulation of everything. You know it fully well. You've mentioned it in your statement. Our economy was not expected to survive that, but it did. To a large extent, it was done because the economy remains a market-based economy. It adjusts. Business is looking for new target markets. Where possible, it tries to substitute imports. The government is taking a number of steps to support entrepreneurs. However, considering the extreme external conditions and sanctions, maybe the time has come to further deregulate the economy. You mentioned decentralization, for example, to cut down on the number of inspections and to decrease the regulatory burden.
Los? Yo, wis nggak apa-apa los.
This is
Penting tadi kita udah profit banyak.
choice to cut down on the number of inspections, well, to get rid of over-regulation coming from the state.
0,25 kan bisa.
You know that the
Jadi
routine
sambil
inspections have
pakai
been
setup baru.
scraped, not only for
pakai
SMEs but for
setup
major
live
businesses
streaming
as
baru.
well, and will, if it hasn't been said before, will
Iseng-iseng berhadiah lah, lumayan.
continue the same
100
conditions for 2023 as well.
$20 mau
As
mau
for
$30
regulations,
siapa yang mau ngasih kan?
This
Kayaknya lumayan.
regulatory guillotine that we've spoken about,
Kayaknya nggak
I
pengen
think
live,
it led to more than
udah profit
1,000
kok tadi lumayan.
legislative acts have been repealed,
Pokoknya yang ikutan live tadi profit
substituted
aja.
with less than
Video
500
sebelumnya.
new ones. I hope they've been updated. I think it's
Makanya yang ini ya
400
udah berapapun mau 10, 20, $30 buat tambahan aja.
new regulation acts that regulate the economic activity.
Ayo naiklah.
We'll continue down this path.
Posisi.
Naturally, with the exceptions to those types of production that have to do with certain risks for the consumer. I think it's quite apparent to everyone. Still, even here, we'll try to make it so that all these regulatory functions and inspections would be targeted and will not stand in the way of the work of business on the whole and certain businesses. Well, you're quite right that as a response to all kind of limitations introduced against Russia and its economy, you said that the economy was meant to be brought down. Well, it wasn't supposed to. That was the very goal, but that did not happen. Indeed, the economy became more resilient, more adjusting. It turns out that our
Yang penting kalau misalkan kalian mau scalping itu harus pas pasar-pasar lagi sideways ya. Jangan pas lagi tren, mati kalian. Kalau kalian pemain tren, boleh kalian main di pas volatilitas tinggi. Tapi kalau misalkan lagi sideways, kalian main scalping aja. Makanya balik lagi ke skill masing-masing. Kalian bisanya di tren atau di sideways. atau scalping.
Yes, we see
Kalau
some
scalping
issues in midterm
di
perspective.
pas
We understand
volatilitas
that
tinggi
we
itu
cannot
biasanya
produce
ngeri
everything.
antara untung sama buntung aja udah dua.
In the morning, I spoke to
Sekalinya
some of the
untung ya
colleagues
bisa
before I traveled here.
ribuan
It's
dolar,
clear
sekalinya
that
buntung ya juga bisa ribuan
talking to
dolar.
everyone in the government,
Gitu.
the
Makanya
central bank, in the
sebelum trading
administration,
pastikan dulu
our experts
kalian ini
believe
bisa trading ini di
Acme of
di
purchase.
arus jeram atau di arus santai gitu.
that had to do
Ini
with
38 dolar udah kita
sanctions and
bungkus aja,
limitations
50
is
dolar
over.
udah kita bungkus
Russian
53
economy has
dolar.
in general
Udah sikat
adjusted
lumayan
to the new
700.000.
a
Dah.
lot will have to be done
Jadi itu ya.
with the new
Jadi
chains of
sebelum kalian
supply
masuk ke market,
in
kalian harus
export
pastikan dulu kalian
to be
teknikalnya
cut
seperti
down
apa,
costs,
fundamental
have to do
kalian
that.
baca
But in
fundamentalnya
general,
seperti apa.
we've been
Tapi
through
biasanya
this
kalau
with
misalkan
Russian
orang
economy
trading
has
pakai
adapted.
teknikal itu bakalan ambiar ketika ada
We'll continue
fundamental,
to
karena
develop more
mau
sustainable
teknikal sejago apapun ketika ada
greater sovereignty. However,
fundamental
the
itu
response to all
nggak
these
masuk akal
challenges
semua.
should be first
Makanya
and foremost,
kalian
I believe,
trading ini
democratization.
mau
Getting
di
rid
mana
of
gitu,
red tape
mau pakai
to
teknikal
support
atau mau pakai
businesses.
fundamental. Kalau misalkan mau pakai teknikal berarti kalian jangan trading pas lagi ada news.
field
Itu
of
aja.
freedom for economic
Terus kalian pastiin dulu kalian ini
Okay,
bisa
Alexander.
tradingin di apa?
cannot
Di market
without
yang lagi slow atau yang di arus jeram. Gitu.
Mr. President.
Jadi benar-benar mesti diperhitungkan dulu sebelum kalian masuk
Quite
ke
often the foreigners ask us
marketnya. Udah nambah
what
nih
Russia
lumayan.
can offer to the new world. Where are your Nobel
Lumayan buat rokok.
Prize winners? Where are your
Tidak,
great
saya akhiri. Kurang lebihnya minta maaf.
discoveries,
Assalamualaikum.
industrial and scientific